From the River Market in downtown Little Rock, this is Channel 7 News live at 5.
Hello everyone and welcome to our Hello Management 50th show here on Channel 7. Today we will talk about the dynamic capabilities approach. The global competitive battles in high technology have demonstrated the need for an expanded paradigm to understand how competitive advantage is achieved. Well-known companies appear to have followed a resource-based strategy. However, this strategy is often not enough to support a significant competitive advantage. Winners in the global marketplace have been firms that can demonstrate timely responsiveness and rapid and flexible product innovation, coupled with the management capability to effectively coordinate and redeploy internal and external competencies. Companies can accumulate a large stock of valuable technology assets and still not have many useful capabilities. We are so happy to welcome our two special guests, Richard Thies and Amy Xuan, both authors of Dynamic Capabilities and Strategic Management, professors and researchers. Hello.
Hello.
Welcome.
Hello, thank you.
Hi. Hi, have a seat.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you so much for being here today. We are very honored. I'm going to first ask you if there are some existing paradigms and what are they?
So there are three paradigms: the competitive forces approach, the strategic conflict, and the resource-based perspective.
Concerning the competitive forces approach, it was the dominant paradigm in strategy, at least during the 80s, pioneered by Porter. The essence of competitive strategy formulation as relating a company to its environment. Porter says that the industry structure strongly influences the competitive rules of the game, as well as the strategies potentially available to firms. In this model, 5 industry-level forces determine the inherent profit potential of an industry. The approach can be used to help the firm find a position in an industry from which it can best defend itself against competitive forces.
The strategic conflict approach uses the tools of game theory to analyze the nature of competitive interaction between rival firms. The main drive of work in this tradition is to reveal how a firm can influence the behavior and actions of a rival firms, and thus the market environment. The analysis of strategic moves using game theory can be thought of as dynamic in the sense that multi-period analysis can be parsed both intuitively and formally. The approach, unfortunately, ignores competition as a process involving the development, accumulation, combination, and protection of unique skills and capabilities.
The resource-based approach sees firms with superior systems and structures being profitable not because they engage in strategic investments that may deter entry and raise prices above long-run costs, but because they have distinctly lower costs or offer distinctly higher quality or product performance. This approach focuses on the rents accruing to the owners of rare firm-specific resources rather than the economic profits from product market positioning. From the resource-based perspective, firms are heterogeneous with respect to their resources, capabilities, and endowments. The resource-based perspective puts both vertical integration and diversification into a new strategic light.
Thank you, Robert. Amy, could you tell us more about this approach?
Yes, of course, Kelly, I will. You will see the dynamic capabilities approach emphasizes the development of management capabilities and the difficult to imitate organizational, functional, and technical skills. Dynamic capabilities can be seen as an emerging and potentially integrative approach to understanding the newer sources of competitive advantage. The dynamic capabilities approach is promising both in terms of future research, potentially, and as well as an aid to management endeavoring to gain competitive advantage and increasingly demanding environments.
All right. Robert, what is exactly the meaning of dynamic capabilities?
So, The term dynamic refers to the capacity to renew competencies, so as to achieve similarly with the changing business environment. The term capabilities emphasizes the key role of strategic management in appropriately adapting resources and competencies to match the requirements of a changing environment.
Amy, could you please tell us more about the dynamic capabilities framework?
Yes, of course. You will see the framework is based upon three main concepts. The first concept is being processed, underlying the way things are done, such as the routines and patterns of practice and learning. The second concept is called positions, meaning the current specific environments such as technology, IP, complementary assets, customer base, and external relations. The third concept of this framework is called paths. These ones are referring to the strategic alternative, such as the presence or absence of increasing returns and attendant paths dependencies. Robert?
So I will add something to it using a key figure. So here is the nice schema. So the competitive advantage of firms lies with its managerial and organizational processes, shaped by its asset position and path available to it. Here you can see the processes, positions, and path. And to achieve a distinctive competence and a sustained competitive advantage, it is very important for this firm to build a difficult to replicate and a difficult to imitate competence. So replication means the transfer of competencies from one concrete economic setting to another, and imitation is the action of replicating the competencies by the firm itself or its competitors.
Thank you for this excellent definition. Now, Robert, could you tell us how did your definition and vision of dynamic capabilities evolved throughout time?
Yes, sure, it will be quite long. So in the 80s and 90s, I taught classical macroeconomics to MBA students at Stanford and Berkeley. And one of the ideas we discussed was that a firm was a black box. So this theory implied that managers of different firms would respond in the same way to external events. Some business students began asking why the theories ignore the fact that different companies had different levels of capabilities, which was obvious to anyone in the technology industries. It was also present in the cases we studied, but went unrecognized. For instance, my own early work had focused on why companies profited from innovation. In 1986, I had published a case story on the EMI Group, a wonderfully innovative company that failed in the marketplace. It wasn't failure in strategy, they lacked capabilities. So I set out on my own inquiry about capabilities. I found intellectual support from non-mainstream economists who were interested in innovation and evolutionary economics. In 1997, I published my first paper on the subject dynamic capabilities and strategic management with Gary Pisano, now at Harvard, and Amy Schwan, who went on to teach at San Jose State.
Yeah, that's right.
All right, thank you very much. Amy, I'd like to know, is there a reliable theory that tells you how to build dynamic capabilities?
Well, you will see, not yet. I can give corporate leaders a sense of what they need to do. But dynamic capabilities theory is not highly predictive. That's in part because the theory is not feasible in the Karl Popper sense. You can disprove, for example, that a company built dynamic capabilities without doing any sensing. It's very hard to figure out which capabilities are most important. Which aspect of the way things are done around here is the one that leads to superior performance. Sometimes people in an organization don't know why their own capability is successful. They attribute their success, for instance, to the wrong factors. In the early 1980s, many USA industries went down a lot of blind alleys trying to reverse engineer the reasons for Japanese success. First, they thought it was Japan's lower cost of capital, then it was government subsidies, or possibly even robotics. Then maybe it was their calisthenics at lunchtime. If you're going to copy something, as Dick Rommel says, you have to understand how their underlying system works. That's the contribution we make with dynamic capabilities. A useful theory is one with some descriptive validity that helps integrate and relate disparate ideas that you know are important. The dynamic capabilities theory does actually that. It provides an intellectual structure for business people to start thinking systematically about why companies succeed or fail.
Okay, so as we all see, your dynamic capabilities approach is already very interesting in the field of competitive advantage.
Of course.
So I'd like to know what are the future directions for this framework?
Alright, so Kelly, more theoretical work is needed to tighten the framework, and some research is critical to helping us understand how firms get to be good, how they sometimes stay that way, why and how they improve, and why they sometimes decline. We are 63 researchers in the field of strategy, and we are actually working with other researchers in the field of innovation, manufacturing, and organizational behavior, and business history, in order to unlock the questions that lie behind corporate as well as national competitive advantage.
Well, there could hardly be a more ambitious research agenda in the social sciences today, actually.
Thank you very much for coming. I'd like to wish you good luck for your coming research.
Thank you very much.
And see you very soon at Channel 7.
Thank you.
Thanks everyone for watching us on Hello Management, and we see you next week, same place, same time, now on Channel 7, The Weather with Paul Gardiner.
Ciao!